Yo, what's up guys? As I'm editing and recording this video, a bunch of Bulls fans and NBA Twitter are currently freaking out about Zach LaVine's recent comments. Obviously Zach LaVine is a free agent for this upcoming offseason, and these past 2 days, the Chicago Bulls did have their end of season interviews. In today's video, I'm going to be breaking down those interviews, especially surrounding Zach LaVine. I wanted to make one video, but there's been so much news, rumors that just came out. I'm probably going to have a few videos covering it all week long. But either way, before I do jump into today's video, make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel. Also, leave a quick like on today's video. It takes a second and it helps me out a lot. And leave a like if you guys want the Chicago Bulls to re-sign Zach LaVine to our max contract. There's been a lot of talk and hate on Zach's name recently. Also, leave some comments and questions below today's video. But either way, let's just jump right into it. Because like I was just talking about, the Chicago Bulls had their end of season, I'd say, interviews. Obviously, Zach had to do it over Zoom because he did have COVID and he did miss Game 5 versus the Milwaukee Bucks. And real quick, I'm going to give a quick little update on his knee. Zach LaVine did say, I need to go into the offseason and figure out how to get back to 100%. I wasn't playing at 100%. Need to find a strategy to get my knee back to normal, get back to LA and see my doctor and figure out what's the best plan of action. Obviously, that's not a great thing to hear. Zach LaVine has pretty much played this whole season fighting injuries. I know he had some back soreness, pretty much knee soreness all season long that I really broke down in my last video. He said on a good day, his knee was maybe 40 to 50%. Definitely check out my last video if you guys missed it. And obviously, heading into the offseason with our best player dealing with some knee problems isn't exactly ideal because the Chicago Bulls have a big decision to make. And if they want to pay Zach LaVine about $200+ million, in my opinion, it's still no doubt unless, obviously the surgery doesn't go well or anything like that. And speaking of surgery, Arcturus was talking to the media as well, and Casey Johnson covered this whole day in interviews and everything like that. Huge shout out to Casey Johnson. But Arcturus did say Zach LaVine's knee won't come into play because he is a free agent. Casey, in his own words, did say because the MRI showed nothing, I'd say, really wrong with his knee. And AK said it hasn't been determined yet if Zach LaVine will need off-season surgery. Casey Johnson did say it's likely headed that way, but I'm told that the final decision has not been made. Like I said, that's not great to hear. I'll definitely keep you guys updated on that whole situation. And before I jump into the quote that really had a bunch of Bulls fans freaking out on Twitter, let me know below today's video if you guys believe Zach LaVine is worth a max contract. This whole situation has really been blown up out of proportion, especially recently, and especially how he's been, I'd say, playing through injury the second half of the season, and in the NBA playoffs, he kind of did struggle. No matter what, I like Zach LaVine. I believe he's a max contract player. I don't believe he's worth $200 million, but if you look at all the other NBA max contract players, Zach LaVine is definitely worth that money, and he fits there. And let's be honest, you have to pay him. You just can't let this man walk for nothing, and a sign and trade is very unlikely in my opinion. So now onto the quote that really had a bunch of Bulls fans freaking out, and Zach LaVine kind of sounded like he's done here in Chicago and kind of hinted at leaving in my opinion. Zach was talking about this upcoming free agency, and he did say, I understand the relationship I've had with AK in the last 5 years here. I hope the city understands how much I care about the Bulls. I'm going into everything open-minded, but knowing how much I've enjoyed my time here. Like I said, this tweet was going everywhere. Every Bulls fan was, I'd say, retweeting or quote tweeting this. And let me just first off say, if the Bulls offer Zach LaVine a max contract, I am 100% sure he's going to sign it and be happy to play here next season. But, I'm going to be real, this whole interview and press conference, Zach LaVine was saying some weird things that I don't know, it just didn't have me feeling right. I mean, it is a weird situation, but at the same time, Zach LaVine is with Clutch, and this is kind of what they do, knowing, or kind of like letting the Bulls front office know, if they don't pay Zach LaVine, he's going to get paid from another team or a sign and trade, and he has options. And me, myself, as a diehard Bulls fan, I really didn't like that quote, and especially this one that I'm about to read right now. Zach LaVine did indicate that he'll weigh all options in free agency, including potential, I'd say, taking meetings with teams other than the Chicago Bulls. That's really weird. Zach LaVine has said for years now he loves Chicago, he wants to stay here. I mean, the Bulls front office traded for Demar, Vucevic, and Lonzo to really, I'd say, make Zach even happier, in my opinion. But Zach LaVine didn't exactly confirm that these potential meetings will happen, but he did say he has to consider everything from A to Z, especially for his family and everything like that. So it's definitely weird, but in my opinion, I believe Clutch told Zach to say all this stuff before the interview. But this is even stranger. You know, I get the NBA is a business and all, but when the organization goes all in to make Zach happy, they've said many times they want him to stay here, and especially Zach, he said many times he loves Chicago, he wants to re-sign. So I just find it odd that when he is a free agent, he didn't really hint or say anything like that he wants to come back. Casey Johnson asked Zach LaVine directly if the Chicago Bulls are obviously his #1 choice in free agency, and Zach LaVine responded by saying it's a business decision and he will stay open-eyed. I don't know, man. That just makes me uncomfortable. But no matter what, you know, Arturis did say they want to keep Zach LaVine around for years. I think it's as simple as if they offer him a max contract and this Bulls team, I'd say, gets a little better in free agency, I believe Zach LaVine will re-sign. And speaking of Zach LaVine possibly leaving and kind of hinting at it, realistically, there's not likely to be much serious competition for the Chicago Bulls in this offseason, which is a huge boost and a huge thing to know, in my opinion. You know, when it does come to free agency, the only teams that really have, I'd say, max contract salary cap and space for Zach LaVine would be the Pistons, Spurs, and the Magic. They have the most, I'd say, salary cap. And, you know, you could read that, look over that, but the Spurs definitely do kind of scare me. I mean, Zach LaVine and DeJounte Murray definitely have a good relationship. Obviously, he is the star point guard for the Spurs. And just the other day on Thursday night, Murray did stir the pot even more. He posted a Photoshop picture of Zach LaVine in a Spurs jersey. You know, he did delete it not long after, I'd say, he posted it due to, I'd say, tampering issues. But either way, I have no question and no doubt that Zach's going to leave the Bulls unless they don't offer him the max contract. I mean, it'll definitely be interesting to see if Zach LaVine does take any potential meetings with any other teams, maybe the Spurs. Obviously, Zach LaVine's, I'd say, childhood and lifetime best friends obviously going to push for him and recruit him. But in my opinion, the Bulls would be silly to not offer this man a max contract and bring him back. I mean, say the Bulls don't offer him enough money and Zach's not happy and leaves. What are the Bulls going to do then? They have Vuce and Demar that's both 30-plus years old that's getting up there in age. It's just not ideal in my opinion. I mean, Zach, he's only 27, heading into his prime. I know this whole season he's dealt with injuries and such. But either way, dealing with injuries, he still played 35 minutes a night, averaging about 25, 5, and 5 on all good shooting percentages. I think the Bulls would be crazy to sign and trade him or let him walk for nothing especially. Let me know below today's video. You know, I know Zach LaVine kind of played the whole, I'd say, interview and situation weird, but in my opinion, I believe Clutch told him to say these to kind of be on the fence, to kind of have some leverage, I'd say, in this upcoming offseason. Hopefully, Zach LaVine doesn't leave. That would be terrible in my opinion. Definitely leave some comments and questions below today's video talking about the whole interview that Zach LaVine gave and this whole topic and situation. Thank you guys for watching today's video. Have a good one.